On paper, you are perfectly fine, maybe even better than fine. The bills are paid, there is money in savings, and nothing is currently on fire. Yet deep down, you feel like you are one bad month away from losing absolutely everything. You know the feeling. A routine $5 purchase triggers a sudden wave of guilt. You log into your bank account and your chest immediately tightens, even though the number on the screen is healthy. People look at your life and tell you that you're doing well, but a quiet voice in the back of your mind dismisses them. You think, they don't get it. They don't see the danger lurking right around the corner. Psychologists now have a name for this specific state. It is called money dysmorphia. It happens when your emotional perception of your finances completely breaks away from your factual reality. This gap between reality and feeling means you are dealing with a psychological dissonance, not a math problem. Trying to fix this anxiety by simply creating another spreadsheet or grinding for a raise will never work. The math is not the part that's broken. To understand why your brain does this, we have to look at how it learned about money in the first place. If money ever felt genuinely unsafe, maybe you grew up in a tight household or you survived a sudden job loss, your nervous system learned to treat money as an active, daily threat. This animated graph illustrates the problem. As your actual financial safety steadily rises over time, your internal threat level stays perpetually elevated. Researchers call this scarcity wiring. Your brain's attention gets hijacked by the feeling of not enough, and the internal alarm continues to sound long after the actual danger has passed. Financial psychologist Brad Klontz calls these early lessons money scripts. If you watched a parent panic over bills during the first 10 years of your life, your brain hardwired a permanent equation: money equals anxiety. That script keeps running silently in the background, dictating your baseline threat level today. Your mind is also fighting millions of years of human evolution. We are wired with a negativity bias, meaning we weight potential threats far heavier than actual safety to stay alive. In your finances, this scatterplot shows how it works. You can have 10 solid markers of stability, and your brain will ignore them entirely to fixate on a single worst-case scenario. When you combine a stressful financial past with your biology, the result is a nervous system that feels constantly hunted. Your anxiety is a predictable system error. It is absolutely not a personal failure. But biology and childhood are only half the story. The reference point for wealth used to be the neighbor down the street. Today, we compare our bank accounts to the entire internet's curated highlight reel of dream vacations, massive homes, and endless passive income flexes. When you marinate your mind in this infinite global scale, any normal amount of money feels completely inadequate. You constantly feel behind, no matter how much you actually save. We stop treating money as a simple currency and start using it as an emotional stand-in. We make the number in our account represent our personal worth, our competence, and our ultimate safety. Look at this diagram. It shows what happens when you never define what financially safe actually looks like. If you don't have a concrete mathematical finish line, your goal simply becomes more. And every time you reach a milestone, the finish line moves an inch further away. When you attach your internal sense of security to an undefined, infinite scale, safe becomes unreachable by default. The feeling of being not yet safe becomes your permanent state of existence. Feeling broke when you aren't feels like you are just being careful. But there is a hidden tax to living this way. You do all the difficult work, the earning, the saving, the daily restraint, and you never get to collect the payoff. You built the safety, but you never let yourself feel the peace. This dissonance forces people into two painful extremes. You either joylessly grip every single penny, denying yourself any pleasure, or you get so exhausted by the constant anxiety that you suddenly splurge to feel okay, only to crash right back into intense guilt. Chronic low-grade financial alarm is a physical state. Tolerating this gap between reality and feeling is not a conservative, responsible way to live. It is actively taxing your long-term health and stealing the joy out of your present life. The goal here is not to abandon your financial responsibility. The goal is to actively close the gap between the facts of your money and the feeling of it. Next time the panic hits, pause. Explicitly name it. Tell yourself, that is my scarcity wiring, not my bank balance. Naming the alarm loosens its grip. Then, gently face the actual numbers. Avoidance feeds the fear, but reality is almost always less frightening than the dread of the unknown. Take a moment to define your personal safety. Write down exactly what financially safe means to you. For example, 3 specific months of expenses saved up. Give your nervous system a clear destination so it knows exactly when to stop sounding the alarm. Try a simple practice this week. Check your real numbers calmly and fill in the blank on this sentence. Right now, I actually have blank. Let that stark, clear fact sit right next to the chaotic feeling. If this shifted how you see your finances, subscribe to the channel. Next time, we are digging into the true psychological drivers behind why you can't stop impulse buying. Remember, your bank account isn't the problem. Financial safety is only partially about the math. True peace is found when you finally learn to tell yourself an accurate story about your own reality.